Okay, now that we have our shower door unboxed, we're going to stage our metal. What I like to do is take it and stick it in the corner of my shower so I have access to it. That way we're not going to be stepping on it as we work, and it just gives you everything accessible and handy when you need it. The first thing we're going to do is cut our sill to length. That's the first thing that's going to go down when you do this install. What we're going to do is put it on the curb, and you usually want to put it center line. It doesn't have to be, but that's a good place to put it. The first thing you're going to do is measure and cut your sill, and then we'll get it installed. All right, the next thing we're going to do is determine the placement of our sill on top of the curb. Normally what I'm going to do here is center it in the curb. On this particular case, I've got a curb that's 5.5 inches wide. I'm going to place it in here right about on the middle, and I'm going to mark a line on both sides of where I want the outside of this to be placed. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement across the width, and I'm going to measure this tight, and then I'm going to subtract anywhere from a 1/16 to an 1/8. You don't want it any more than an 1/8, any less than a 1/16. Okay, once I've determined my size, I'm going to cut my threshold to length. Okay, what we're going to do now is use a hacksaw to cut our sill to length. The next step, we're going to tape down our sill onto the curb so that it will not move as you're marking your wall jambs. And we're sitting our sill right on line with the pencil marks that I put down. All right, our next step is to mark the placement of our holes for our wall jambs. What we're going to do, we're going to set the wall jamb on top of the sill, and we are going to put a level on it, and we are going to get it exactly plumb. And here's the key thing: the more accurate you get your plumb, the more accurate the better your door is going to fit. And so make sure you get this part down right. We're going to get it up plumb. We're going to mark our 3 holes. And you're going to repeat this with both sides. Okay, now that I have these marked, I'm going to drill 3/16 inch holes everywhere where I've marked it. You're going to have 3 holes on this side, 3 holes on this side. Okay, now that we've finished drilling our holes, we're going to take our anchors and we are going to apply them inside the hole. You're sometimes going to need a little hammer to help push those in. It's a good idea to use a mallet, not a steel hammer. It just causes less damage to your tile. And in case you just miss or something like that. Okay, that process done, we're going to go ahead and clean up our mess down here. We don't want to have a lot of shavings, a lot of dust inside your work, so it's a good time to either take a little shop vac or a brush and clean all this stuff out, because you're not going to want it inside your silicone in your finished product. Okay, now that we've got our hole drilled and our wall anchor in place, we're going to go ahead and mount it with the number 8 by 1.5 inch screw provided in your kit. Okay, now that we've got our wall jambs in place, the next step we're going to do is put on our strike jamb, and then we're going to mount our door. When we put on our strike jamb, we're not going to screw it in place yet. We're just going to stick it up here temporarily. And then we're going to put our door up, and we're going to put it up temporarily. and then we're going to adjust them both so we get a good fit. And then after we get a fit that we like, we're going to go ahead and screw it down. And as you notice, as I've shut the door, it's too big. We have adjustment in both the hinge rail and the strike jamb to slide them in and out so we can get a fit that we're wanting to have. And so what we're going to be trying to do or achieve here is get an optimum fit so that we have exactly about a 3/16 reveal between our glass and our metal, and that we have a good plumb and level fit. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to manipulate the frame. I'm going to, both the hinge rail I'm going to manipulate and my strike jamb so that I have a nice reveal all the way down and it looks clean. Okay, what I have achieved here is a 1/4 inch gap between my strike jamb and my glass. And it can vary a little bit, about a 1/16 of an inch either way. 1/4 inch is what I try to shoot for. Once I have the spacing exactly how I want it, now I've got a door that has a good reveal. The next step is to drill the rest of my holes and mount my strike jamb in place and my hinge rail into place. Okay, now that we have our metal in place, I'm going to anchor it down with 3 holes on each side. I'm going to start down about 3 inches, and I'm going to drill. And make sure you're going both through your strike jamb and the wall jamb. And then I'll do my 3rd one right here. What you're going to use are your number 6 by 3/8 screws. You're going to get 6 of them that are supplied in your kit. We're going to mount 3 screws on each side and mount these screws on the inside of the door, not the outside, so you have a better look on your finished product. All right, it looks great. We got a 1/4 inch reveal all the way down, and now we can move on to our next step. The next thing we're going to do is put on our handle. It's going to come in your package looking pretty much like this. You're going to get an Allen wrench. There's a set screw on one side right here and right here. You're going to have to loosen it up. And when you loosen up that Allen wrench, you can pull it apart like this. All right, the next thing you're going to do is to pull this off. You just unscrew your mounting bolt, and you're going to notice, and this is something I want to show to you, you're going to notice you're going to have a grommet in here. When you get these in your package, they're going to be set up for either 3/8 inch glass or they're going to be set up for 3/16 1/4 inch glass. The larger ones are made for the 3/8 glass. You do not want to use these. If you get 2 in the package, get rid of the 3/8, and we're only going to be using the smaller ones in this application. Holding this up here so you can see exactly how it's going to be applied to the glass. You're going to have your 6-inch back-to-back handle. You're going to have a washer. You're going to have your 1/4 inch grommet. You're going to have another washer. We're going to pull this apart and we're going to apply it so that the glass is sitting dead center between these 2 washers. All right, what we're going to do now is hand tighten the set screws in place. We do not want to over tighten these because you can crack the washers. I just want to get them tightened enough that they're going to move around a little bit. And we're going to take a screwdriver and we're just going to put it in there. And sometimes it'll be a slotted, sometimes it'll be a Phillips head, but we just want to give it about 1/8 of a turn just so it'll snug it up. And never more than about 1/8. And now I cannot move the handle around. Oh, it moved just a little bit there. Let's go just a little bit more. There we go. Now we got the inside handle set in place. Okay, now that that's done, our next thing is to install the outside of the handle. The outside of the handle, you're going to notice, has 2 Allen wrenches in it. And I like to put those to the outside. It just keeps water off them. It's not the end of the world if you put them on the inside, but that's just my particular way I like to do it. We're going to take this and we are going to install it right on top of our main set screws. And they go on sometimes a little bit tough, but they do go on. What we're going to do after we get it in place and we know it's seated well, we're going to take an Allen wrench underneath it. This Allen wrench will actually come in your handle pack, and so it'll be part of the accessories that come. You do not need to go out and buy an Allen wrench for this. You got the bottom one set, and when you're setting make sure it's still nice and tight up against there as you're turning it. Okay, and then once it sets, we're going to just take the bottom of it here and get underneath there. Do not over tighten this one also. They're a small screw. Just give it a nice good snug there. And there. Very good. Your handle is installed. Next step in this process is to apply the magnetic catch. You're going to have two parts in this. You're going to have the magnetic, or you're going to have the catch vinyl, and you're going to have the magnetic catch. The catch vinyl is going to be applied on top of the glass. The magnetic catch will be applied to that. When we install this, it's really important to have some glass cleaner on hand. It makes this process go a lot easier. On your strike jam, you have a magnet. Your catch is going to catch onto that. What we want to do is line up your vinyl right at the same height as your magnet is on your strike jam. We're going to put a little glass cleaner on both sides, and this will make this go on a heck of a lot easier. You put it there and make sure your magnet is on the inside of the door. And you're going to take it and just give it a light tap with your mallet. Right there, and then you're going to shut it to make sure it is fitting up exactly in line with your magnet. And do you hear that click? We're done.